My 2025 predictions. We're going to go through my top 12 on the ladder, probably the only teams that, matter, I suppose, in that sort of, finals race. We're going to go through my expected breakout players, who I've kind of spoken about already, but I just want to get it down on paper. And then the guys that can make the 60 club for NRL Fantasy, which is pretty coveted and pretty tough to get into. So we'll push into that. And as I said, pretty short and sharp on this front. For New Zealand residents, we've got an awesome free league for you to get into where the winner wins a trip for two to 2026 Magic Round with the full-time sports bar and eatery. So get in the description for that one. You got to follow them on Instagram, message them fantasy, and you'll get into that. So go in and check that one out. It's super exciting to play that one and something for the New Zealand guys, which is awesome there. Also, guys, if you haven't checked out the private group, jump in the description for that one as well. All the information's there. You can go through that one and do subscribe and follow us here on YouTube and on Spotify or Apple. For my 2025 ladder predictions, I have the Storm up top and the Panthers. I think the Storm will win enough games, even though they've been pretty poor in this preseason so far. I think the Panthers will work it out. They might start a little bit slower, in my opinion. I think the Storm will be pretty well right after the first couple of rounds. Like by the time round 3 comes knocking on the door, we've got guys like Pap will return. We'll definitely have Hughes there. And a lot of their guys are going to be improving as well. And Stefano looked really, really good in the trial. So I think he helps them out tremendously. Storm I'm excited about. Panthers, a little bit slow to start. They'll kick into gear. And if Cleary's on the park and Yo's on the park and Edwards is on the park, they've still got a tremendous spine there. And they'll be really, really good. Might take a bit for guys like Blaze Salungi to get into the side. But you've got heaps of guys like Cole and Schneider to sort that out. And plenty of great outside back. So, and then you get IPAP. So it doesn't matter for them. Sharkies, I think they're in third this year, and I actually just moved around my sort of 4, 5, 6 in the last day. I didn't really like the look of the Dogs, so I had them in fourth actually. I moved them back, and I think if Manly can stick on the park, I'm going to slot them, their guns can stick on the park. Another year together with Brooks especially, and guys like Jazz Tavanga I think are going to help as well. The main issue is going to be sort of a little bit on their middles, but a little bit in their edges. And I think guys like Taukauho and Tavanga are going to be really helpful for them through the middle. Guys like Lehigh Hopewade really, coming into their own as well and having that push for outside back spots. I'm going to slot them in there. I think they can win a lot of games and get into that 8 and push towards that top 4. But with the Sharkies, they are better this year, in my opinion. So I expect them to be clearly in the top 3. And those top 3 spots I don't think should change, apart from a tremendous amount of injuries. For Manly, I just mentioned their squad. I'm going to slot them in at fourth. With the Broncos, they look really good on the weekend. With Dogs not looking too great, Madge should do some really great things for him as well. So I'm putting the Broncos ahead of the Dogs right now. But I think this is a pretty clear top 6 for me, with the chance of Knights to kind of push into there. If the Eels have a really good season, they could push up into that spot as well. But I think I've got that top 6 fairly well set. If the Broncos can keep their experienced halves on the field for majority of it, and guys like Haas and Carrigan played the majority of the season, and Walsh, they should be in that top 5. And it looked pretty solid in attack. It was a close game to start, and then they turned that on. They have so many attacking weapons. For the Dogs, I do expect some improvement from them and some consistency, but also see some improvement in other teams, and that's why we see the Dogs in 6. But they'll be pushing again for that top 4. I had them very, very close, and we'll lock them in there at 6. For the Knights, I've got them in 7th in this one. They look really nice on the weekend, and if Fletcher Sharp can be the really good 6th, then they've got a game changer in that position. And if they can keep Bradman Best on the park along with Ponga, they do have to sort that 9 position out. Looks like KPP on that right and Lucas on the left look really strong in their trial as well, so they'll push with those guys, and then they've got attacking weapons. So I'm excited to see the Knights, but they still end up in 7th. Roosters, push them down a little bit as well. They looked awful on the weekend, but they are the Roosters, and they'll probably push and fight their way into this top 8. So that's my 8 at the moment. Eels look very, very close at number 9th right now. If their big dogs in Moses and Brown can stay on the park, and Yongi look pretty solid, to be fair, and they've got Lomax in the centres. There's lots of strike in this team. Their edges may be a little bit of a worry, depending how that one goes. Defensively, we saw that with Tuolangi, but what's the other edge going to look like? There's a few question marks on that, along with the 9. But I think if Riley Smith can work his way into that side, similar to the Raiders with Owen Paddy, who I've got in 10th, that will improve those types of teams there. So Eels at 9th, Raiders in at 10th for that one. Excited to see the youngsters, another year older. Weeks improved, Strange improved. And they've got Owen Paddy in there. They've got Corey Horsburgh back in the fray. They've got Hosking back. They've got Matty Nicholson. There's plenty of good forwards around in that side as always. So they're going to be a fun team. And I've got them pushing for that 8th spot as well. And very much the same with Dragons and Titans in 11th and 12th. I think we can have some excitement on those ones. Titans, they did beat up on the Dolphins, who didn't look incredible after they got spanked in their first trial, the Titans. So I can't have them too high at the moment. But Dragons at 11th, Titans at 12th in this one. I think the Dragons look really, really nice. Val Holmes and Gutho, two really strike weapons for them. And if the halves can do their job, it looked like Flanagan is kind of leading the attack. And Ilias did pretty well with the kicking game on the weekend. It was a nice improvement. And then, guys like Cook in that side, very, very important. So they could push for that 8 as well. I've got them fighting this sort of 7 to 12th is why I've got this spot there. Any of those guys could switch between at any given moment. And Titans, they have a lot of firepower and they looked improved with Brimson and Campbell together. Keeney at the back with, Tino returning and guys like Beaufort Moore and the like. I think that will be a pretty fun little setup, that's for sure. So that's the ladder. That's where I'm going this year. Let me know where your thoughts are on that. It's just that 4th to 6th is a bit of a wish-wash for me. They're all very, very close in selections, and we'll work that one out. But guys, tomorrow you're going to end up with a video on the cheapies. I'm getting the panel together. We're gonna work out which ones you want to select. Anyone from 400 and below. So plenty of good stuff there. So check that out in the morning. And we got TLT tomorrow. I'm so excited for that. I cannot wait. And sorry for this morning. I was pretty dead tired when I did that video. So if I sounded a bit that way and less animated, that is why. But here we are for my expected breakout players. These are the guys that aren't cheapies. I'm excited for guys like Tom Duffy and Jackson Purdue in my side in the Cows. But these are sort of mid-range to more expensive players that I've been talking about. I just want to write it down on paper and we'll enjoy it. And if there's anyone I missed out, Seyfarth. I don't know if we can call him a breakout player. I just think he's going to do his job. So we won't put him as a breakout player. But these guys I expect to go to another level in their gameplay. David Mwale, Dylan Lucas, Jacob Preston, Luke Metcalf, Jackson Howarth. Went to school with the Jackson Howarth. Mr. Howarth there. Jaden Campbell, Stefano, and we have the Catchman boys. I think both of them are going to break out as well. Very excited about all these players. I want to get as many of them in my side as I can throughout the season. Guys like Stefano, super impressive in both trials. He took his game to another level in the recent one. And the consistency is the problem. We'd have one game really good and you're like, wow, this guy's one of the best forwards in the game. And then, 5 games later, you see it again. It's like, well, that's just way too many games in between. And we've seen 2 in a row. That's great signs. And we'll wait to see what happens in that first few games that first game at least, from my eyes, in round 1 to see how that goes. And that would be 3 in a row, not 4, 3. Couchman boys, I just think they'll take their game to another level. Howarth, I'm super excited about in the centers. Campbell, I think he can go to that next level of what we saw with like Hines running the team, and he kind of just does a lot. He does everything in this side. Runner of the footy as well, so that's a win. Metcalf's going to need to step up for the Wars, and I'm excited for that. Lucas and Preston, we know how much I love them. And Davin Wale, I've got him as the breakout prop of the year as a youngster, 21 years old. So they're my expected breakout players. And to finish this off, guys, the guys that can make the 60 average club. It's a very important club. There's not many that can get there. But I do have 11 guys that I think could make that 60 club this year. And there was only like 4 last year, something like that. Cleary, Hines, Hughes, Yo, Haas. 5. There you go. So they are the 5 that I think can make it. Those 5 on the list there. And then guys I think that can push up into that spot. We had Fafita really, really close. Guys like Crichton, I thought I could maybe push in here, but the team looked really poor. So I think he's probably going to be a 57 type of guy. Preston got left out as well. I think he can push to the high 50s. If he can get near the 80 minutes, then he could definitely be up there. But if Hopgood gets the minutes, I can see him pushing back to that 60 in like 65 minutes, 66 minutes. That would be really good. Terrell May, we know he can get there. If he happens to get 60 minutes, he could be a point-a-minute guy. Dave Fafita, we know that he's been there before. He averaged 58.5 last year. Could definitely do that. But off the bench, if he plays there, that wouldn't be the go. Might start a little bit slow, but we'll see how that one goes out. We got Latrell, Campbell, and Ponga. the 3-wing fullbacks, I think, can get there. And Latrell's obviously going to come back and then get into his work. Ponga was over 60 the year before, so I think he can definitely get back there. And Jaden Campbell, as I said, does a bit of everything, and he's going to be lots of fun to watch in this season. They're all the guys that I want to follow. They're my expected breakout players. I want to keep it short and sweet, this one. There's my ladder. We've got heaps of content coming out, obviously, this week. There are 4 teams, so it's probably... I'm going to pop out all the big videos, but a lot of the in-depth stuff and the really important stuff is going to be the following week when we have the rest of the teams. We go from 4 teams to having 12 teams of team lists in the following week, round 1A and round 1B. Do make sure that you put a full team together. Vice captain, captain, they lock out. Everyone else doesn't lock out, but you need to have a full squad available and ready to go. Otherwise, your score will not count at all. So make sure it's set up, saved, and then you'll be good to go for round 1. Stick around for all the videos that are to come, and make sure you do check out the description for all the info on that free league for New Zealand guys, and also the private group and our fantasy overall league, which has over 1,000 people now, which is good fun. So thanks so much for being here. Excited to see all of you guys in the private group. We're on WhatsApp now for the group chat, so I'm excited about that, and we'll see you in the next video.